Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the B segment of episode 39 of Codename Kids Next Door, Operation HOUND. We begin this segment at the Lincoln home, where we see Dr. Lincoln letting number 5 know that it's almost time to head off to school. Dr. Lincoln also inquires number 5 about if she was able to complete her social studies report, and number 5 answers that she was able to do just that. Dr. Lincoln comments with pride about how number 5 is on her way to become an honor roll student, and number 5 sets off to go to school. On her way to school, number 5 passes by a house, and the door of this particular house opens up, revealing a pair of red glowing eyes that are glaring at number 5, and we also hear some growling. Number 5 hears the growling as well. Soon enough, number 5 enters some dark, spooky woods, and the creature from the house earlier begins to chase after number 5. Number 5's comments indicate that this creature is a particularly vicious dog. Despite number 5's best efforts, the dog succeeds in eating number 5's social studies report. At Gulliker Elementary School, in Mrs. Thompson's classroom, we see an honor roll student named Valerie finishing up her report about her family's historical importance with regards to their estate. Mrs. Thompson congratulates Valerie on her report and says something along the lines about wanting who she describes as the other star student of the class to share her report. This student is none other than number 5. However, number 5 has not arrived into class just yet, or number 5 is not in class just yet. And so number 4 actually volunteers to share his report. Valerie makes a gag noise in response to this, and Mrs. Thompson, though she tries to be polite, indicates that she doesn't want to hear number 4's report. She says something along the lines about how she just ate not too long ago. Soon enough, number 5 does enter the classroom, and Mrs. Thompson requests that she share her report. But number 5 can only sadly respond that she's unable to do that because she was attacked by a dog that ate her report. Mrs. Thompson, however, does not believe number 5. She says that number 5 can admit that she didn't do her report, but number 5 reiterates that she did do her report, but a dog attacked her and ate it. Mrs. Thompson still doesn't believe number 5 and gives her a double F-. So after that, Mrs. Thompson decides to have number 2 share his report next. Number 2's report is about airplanes. While number 2 is giving his report, Valerie takes the chance to, in an arrogant, condescending manner, comment about how number 5 will never be an honor roll student if situations like what happened to her social studies report continues to happen. Number 5, however, says that she suspects Valerie is behind this. She comments about seeing the dog exiting Valerie's house. Valerie, however, insists that her dog would never do such a thing. Mrs. Thompson notices number 5 and Valerie arguing with each other, and she threatens to give them a triple F- if they don't stop arguing. So the two students comply and they cease arguing with each other. Later on, the school day has ended, and number 2, number 4, and number 5 are walking down the sidewalk. Number 4 grumbles about how Mrs. Thompson didn't want to hear his report. He comments about how his report is, in his words, powerful, and he starts to read his report, and it's not a very good report, to say the least. Number 5 even says as much. Number 4, however, insists that number 5 is just jealous because she didn't do her report, which leads to number 5 reiterating that she did do her report, but Valerie's dog attacked her and ate it. Number 4 then starts to go on a rant about dogs. He admits he's not a very big fan of dogs, and he actually decides he wants to help number 5 with regards to Valerie's dog, and he ropes number 2 into this as well. So number 4 decides that they should pay Valerie's house a visit to take care of Valerie's dog. So number 4 rushes off to Valerie's house while dragging number 2 and number 5 with him. Once the trio of Sector V operatives arrive at Valerie's house, they sneak through the window and they begin to search through the hallways. Number 4 eventually goes ahead of number 2 and number 5, and then number 2 and number 5 hear number 4 shouting. They rush to the room where number 4 is in, and number 4 has found the dog, but number 4's shouts were not in despair because the dog is actually a small pink poodle puppy, and number 4 actually finds the puppy rather adorable. Number 2 also joins number 4 in holding the dog and commenting about how adorable the puppy is. Number 5, though, is baffled this isn't the dog that attacked her earlier in the day. Having heard the noise, Valerie enters the room, and she's not happy to see number 2 and number 4 holding her puppy, and she demands that they leave her house now. Number 2 and number 4 are disappointed that they don't get to hold the puppy more, but they don't wish to anger Valerie any further, so they leave. Valerie, however, wishes for number 5 to stay, wanting to talk to her. So after number 2 and number 4 leave, Valerie inquires number 5 about her paying Valerie's house an unexpected visit. Valerie suspects that number 5 is trying to steal her homework. But number 5 responds that if she wanted homework like Valerie's, she would request number 4 to do her homework. Afterwards, number 5 also demands that Valerie tell her where her real dog is, the one that attacked her, number 5, earlier. Valerie, though, laughs in response to this, and she says something along the lines of how number 5 doesn't see the truth even when it's staring her in the face. Suddenly, Valerie transforms into a bigger, more vicious-looking dog, and Valerie comments that she was the one who ate number 5's report, and she also makes a comment about how she wants to eat number 5 as well. So number 2 and number 4 just exited Valerie's house through the front door, and so they're still in the front yard, and they see number 5 and Valerie exiting the house. Valerie is in her Weredog form. And number 5 is able to quickly catch number 2 and number 4 up to speed about Valerie being a Weredog and the one responsible for eating her report earlier. Valerie continues to chase after number 5, and number 5 tells number 4 to hand his report to her. Number 4, however, refuses, thinking that number 5 just wants to copy it. But number 5 reiterates that she wants number 4 to give her his report, or else Valerie will be able to finish her off. Number 4 still is stubborn, so number 2 grabs number 4's report and tosses it to number 5. Once number 5 has number 4's report, Valerie starts to eat it, much to number 4's dismay. But suddenly Valerie starts to Valerie does not react well to the report after eating it, and she eventually this causes Valerie to return to her normal form and lose consciousness. Number 5 then responds that number 4 wasn't kidding about his report being powerful, adding that it was powerful enough to render a Weredog unconscious. Number 4, though, is still in despair. He comments that he spent all night making stuff up for his report. But number 5 tries to cheer him up, and she tells number 2 and number 4 that they should probably head back to the Sector V treehouse now. However, Valerie regains consciousness soon, and she transforms back into her Weredog form and tries to jump attack the Sector V operative trio. However, a net grabs hold of Valerie before she can actually attack the trio, and Valerie is back into her normal form. The Sector V operative trio see that Mrs. Thompson was the one responsible for catching Valerie in the net. Mrs. Thompson admits that there is a problem this semester about Weredog students eating the homework of other students, and she admits this was supposed to stay within the teacher's lounge, but clearly the Sector V operative trio have seen evidence of this problem. Mrs. Thompson also tells Number 5 that she can actually redo her report tonight and she can share it with the class tomorrow. And Number 5 appreciates this, and Number 2, Number 4, and Number 5 proceed to leave as Mrs. Thompson begins to scold Valerie. But after the Sector V operative trio leave, Mrs. Thompson makes a comment to Valerie along the lines of how no one can know the truth. And then Mrs. Thompson starts to transform into a Weredog as well. The segment ends with Valerie and Mrs. Thompson starting to transform into Weredogs, and they begin to howl. So there you go. This was the B segment for the Season 3 finale of Codename Kids Next Door. I had mentioned before that the 2 middle seasons of Codename Kids Next Door, Season 3 and Season 4, are the only seasons where the season finale is not a full episode. The season finale for Season 3 and Season 4 are episodes that are split into an A segment and a B segment. Season 3 already had its heavy hitter episode with Operation Graduates. Now, having said that, however, this segment is still a rather important segment because this segment begins a minor storyline that will continue in a later entry, but it won't be for a while before we return to this particular storyline. But yes, this storyline, this is the beginning of another storyline. And yes, this segment introduces the concept of weredogs, obviously a reference to werewolf lore, but it's also a reference to that saying about how a dog ate a kid's homework, because that's usually a reason some kids give for why they didn't do their homework or why they don't have their homework with them when they arrive at school. Although in the case of this segment, yes, a dog really did eat Number 5's homework, although in this case it was a weredog rather than, a weredog was responsible for eating Number 5's homework rather than a regular dog. And to be fair, there probably are some examples in real life where a dog really did eat a kid's homework. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen in real life, at least occasionally, even if it's not always the case, but I digress. So yes, for this particular storyline, Number 5 got to be the spotlight character, and we do get to meet another a kid antagonist in Valerie, who kind of acts like an arrogant, condescending elitist as a honor roll student. And Mrs. Thompson is also revealed to be an antagonist in some way due to the fact that Mrs. Thompson is a weredog. More details about this will be made clear in the continuation to this segment or this storyline. Yes, exactly where Mrs. Thompson fits in the antagonistic role, whether it be as a villain or as an anti-villain, that will be made more clear later on. So we'll cross that bridge eventually. But yes, Mrs. Thompson and Valerie are weredogs, and we will be seeing some other weredogs in the future as well. And yes, that's right. There's another detail with Mrs. Thompson. In Operation Robbers, when Mrs. Thompson first appeared, she was wearing a ring on one of her fingers. However, in this segment, Mrs. Thompson was not wearing a ring anymore. Now, I don't want to give too much away for the sake of those that are just following along with the Recap and Thoughts videos, or those who haven't seen too far ahead who haven't seen the later entries of the series, but yes, the clue that I will give is that Mrs. Thompson not wearing a ring anymore does have something to do with the weredog storyline. So that will be made more clear in time as we cross those eventual bridges. So otherwise, that's about it for this particular segment. So this segment actually concludes the Season 3, the Season 3 finale actually concludes with a segment that starts a minor storyline that relates to Mrs. Thompson and the concept of weredogs. and we will be sure to address more of that in later entries. Number 5 and number 4 actually do play a rather important role in the continuation to the storyline that I'm thinking of right now. Or yes, off the top of my head, I know number 5 and number 4 will play important roles in the continuation to this segment. But otherwise, yes, I believe that's about it for this particular segment. So as of this video, we've now discussed the B segment of episode 39 of Codename Kids Next Door on this channel. Take care, and until next time.